In the grand narrative of the Bible, where figures often rise to prominence through acts of bravery, wisdom, or divine miracles, one prophet stands out for a title that evokes deep reflection and empathy: Jeremiah, the Weeping Prophet. This title is not just a description of his emotional state, but a profound insight into the nature of his prophetic mission. Jeremiah's tears were not ordinary tears. They were the outward manifestation of an inner turmoil and a deep, unrelenting sorrow for his people and their fate. The term weeping prophet suggests that his life and ministry were marked by a unique blend of compassion and anguish. But what made Jeremiah's role so sorrowful that it earned him this poignant designation? To answer this question, we must consider the context of Jeremiah's life and the heavy mantle of prophecy he bore. His ministry was not filled with tales of triumph or messages of immediate deliverance. Instead, Jeremiah's prophecies were often grim, detailing the consequences of the people's disobedience and predicting a future of exile and despair. Jeremiah's sorrow was not just a personal struggle but a reflection of his deep empathy and commitment to his divine calling. His tears were an integral part of his prophetic role, symbolizing his profound connection to the suffering of his people and his relentless concern for their spiritual well-being. As we begin to explore the life of Jeremiah, his title as the Weeping Prophet serves as a poignant reminder of the emotional and spiritual depths involved in bearing such a prophetic burden. Why was Jeremiah's calling so fraught with sorrow? What did his tears signify about his relationship with God and his mission? These questions set the stage for a deeper exploration of Jeremiah's story, his background, and the profound reasons behind his sorrowful title. Jeremiah's story unfolds in the quiet town of Anathoth, located in the territory of Benjamin, just a short distance north of Jerusalem. Born to Hilkiah, a priest, Jeremiah's early life was steeped in the religious traditions and practices of his people. Anathoth, though small and seemingly unremarkable, was a place where Jeremiah's journey would begin. The name, Jeremiah, carries a profound meaning. In Greek, it translates from the Hebrew name, Yirmiyahu, meaning, Yahweh will exalt. This name is more than a mere label. It reflects a divine promise and foreshadows the exalted nature of Jeremiah's mission, despite the personal and collective struggles he would face. His name suggests a divine promise of exaltation and importance in his prophetic mission. Jeremiah's father, Hilkiah, was a respected priest, which provided Jeremiah with a strong foundation in religious teachings. Growing up in a priestly family, Jeremiah was well versed in the laws and rituals of his faith. This upbringing prepared him for the significant prophetic role that lay ahead, instilling in him a deep sense of duty and understanding of his religious heritage. Though Anathoth was a modest town, its proximity to Jerusalem meant that Jeremiah was close to the center of political and spiritual turmoil. This setting would become the backdrop for Jeremiah's prophetic mission. From this unassuming place, Jeremiah would rise to deliver messages of profound importance to the people of Judah and beyond. As we delve deeper into Jeremiah's life, his background provides essential context for understanding his prophetic mission. His name, family heritage, and birthplace all contribute to the depth and significance of his role as the Weeping Prophet. Jeremiah, known as the Weeping Prophet, is distinguished by a title that speaks volumes about his prophetic ministry. His tears were not just a personal display of sorrow but a profound reflection of his deep emotional and spiritual burden. Jeremiah's role as a prophet was marked by an intense and persistent grief. Unlike many of his contemporaries, who might have delivered messages of hope and restoration, Jeremiah's prophecies were often filled with dire warnings and calls for repentance. His sorrow was a direct response to the troubling state of his nation and the impending judgment that he was compelled to announce. The title Weeping Prophet captures the essence of Jeremiah's emotional experience. His tears symbolized more than just personal anguish. They represented a deep empathy for the suffering and spiritual decline of his people. Jeremiah was chosen as a prophet even before his birth, as God declared in Jeremiah 1 verse 5 that he had been set apart for this divine mission from the womb. This early calling intensified the weight of his prophetic duty, making his messages of judgment all the more poignant. Jeremiah's prophecies often depicted the impending destruction of Jerusalem and the exile of its people due to their disobedience and idolatry. The vivid and alarming nature of his messages was matched by his own tears, reflecting the gravity of the consequences that awaited his nation. The title Weeping Prophet thus encapsulates Jeremiah's profound emotional and spiritual anguish. His tears were a visible sign of his deep concern for his people and the heavy burden of delivering such grave news. Jeremiah's prophetic ministry is characterized by a blend of profound messages and intense personal struggle. As we explore his work, it becomes clear why the book of Jeremiah is the longest prophetic book in the Bible and how his messages, though often harsh, were deeply significant for his generation and beyond. The book of Jeremiah is notable for its length and depth, making it the longest prophetic book in the Bible. This extensive volume reflects the breadth and complexity of Jeremiah's ministry. His writings encompass a range of prophecies, prayers, and laments, revealing the full scope of his divine mission. The book's length mirrors the extensive period of Jeremiah's prophetic activity and the many challenges he faced. Jeremiah's prophecies were not limited to his immediate context but extended their relevance to future generations. He foretold the fall of Jerusalem and the destruction of the temple, events that would reshape the spiritual and political landscape of Judah. His messages also included calls for repentance and warnings about the consequences of turning away from God. Beyond immediate predictions, Jeremiah's prophecies addressed the enduring themes of divine judgment, mercy, and restoration. One of the most significant aspects of Jeremiah's ministry was his prophecy about the Babylonian exile. He warned that the people of Judah would be taken into captivity by the Babylonians as a consequence of their persistent disobedience. This prophecy was deeply unsettling, as it foretold a period of immense suffering and displacement for the people. Yet, within these dire predictions, Jeremiah also offered a message of hope, assuring that after 70 years, God would bring the people back to their land. Jeremiah 29 verses 10-14. Jeremiah faced considerable opposition and persecution for his prophetic messages. His predictions of doom were met with hostility from both political and religious leaders who preferred more favorable or optimistic forecasts. Despite his unwavering commitment to delivering God's messages, Jeremiah endured mocking, imprisonment, and even threats to his life. His personal suffering was a testament to his dedication and the heavy price of his prophetic role. Jeremiah's ministry was marked by a series of symbolic actions designed to illustrate his prophecies. These acts included wearing a yoke to symbolize the coming Babylonian dominance, smashing a clay jar to represent the breaking of the nation, and other dramatic gestures that vividly communicated his messages. These symbolic acts not only captured public attention but also served as powerful visual representations of his prophetic warnings. Despite the hardships, Jeremiah's ministry was remarkable for its depth of insight and its impact. His unwavering commitment to his calling, his profound understanding of God's messages, and his ability to convey complex divine truths through both words and actions highlight the significance of his prophetic work. Jeremiah's legacy endures as a testament to the power of prophetic witness and the enduring relevance of his messages. Jeremiah's prophetic journey was fraught with significant challenges and intense persecution. His role as the weeping prophet placed him at odds with the prevailing political and religious powers of his time, resulting in a life marked by suffering and opposition. Jeremiah's messages of impending doom and judgment were deeply unpopular. His prophecies contradicted the prevailing belief that Jerusalem was invincible and would remain protected by God. This stark contrast led to hostility from both political leaders and religious authorities. They saw Jeremiah's predictions as treasonous and alarmist, undermining their own positions and the people's sense of security. Jeremiah faced severe repercussions for his messages. He was beaten, imprisoned, and placed in stocks. His life was constantly under threat, and he was often seen as a traitor rather than a true prophet. The suffering he endured was a direct result of his commitment to delivering messages that were unwelcome and challenging. To emphasize his prophecies, Jeremiah engaged in a series of dramatic symbolic acts. These actions were designed to vividly illustrate the messages he conveyed. The yoke. Jeremiah wore a wooden yoke around his neck as a symbol of the coming Babylonian oppression. This act demonstrated the inevitable submission of Judah to Babylonian rule. The clay jar. In a dramatic gesture, Jeremiah shattered a clay jar in the presence of the elders and priests. This act symbolized the breaking of the nation and the inevitable destruction that would follow their disobedience. The linen belt. Jeremiah buried a linen belt and later retrieved it, showing how Israel had become like the belt, useless and spoiled because of their unfaithfulness to God. These symbolic acts were not only a form of prophetic expression, but also served to visually communicate the gravity of the messages Jeremiah delivered. They were intended to provoke thought and reflection among the people, illustrating the consequences of their actions in a tangible way. Despite the many challenges and persecutions he faced, Jeremiah's prophetic ministry was marked by notable achievements and significant contributions to the spiritual and moral landscape of his time. Jeremiah's most remarkable achievement was his unwavering commitment to his divine calling. Despite immense personal suffering and widespread rejection, he remained steadfast in delivering God's messages. His dedication to his prophetic mission, even in the face of adversity, demonstrated a profound sense of duty and faithfulness. Jeremiah's insights into the nature of God's judgment and mercy were profound. He articulated a deep understanding of the spiritual and moral decline of his people and offered a complex vision of both judgment and hope. His prophecies not only addressed immediate concerns but also provided a broader perspective on God's plan for redemption and restoration. Jeremiah's influence extended beyond his own time. His writings and prophecies have had a lasting impact on Jewish and Christian thought. The book of Jeremiah, with its rich tapestry of prophecies, prayers, and laments, continues to be a source of reflection and inspiration. His legacy as the weeping prophet underscores the depth of his emotional and spiritual engagement with his mission. Jeremiah's life and ministry offer a profound example of prophetic dedication and emotional depth. His title as the weeping prophet reflects the intense personal and spiritual struggles he endured, as well as his deep compassion for his people. Jeremiah's legacy is marked by his courage, perseverance, and profound insights. His messages, though often dire, were crucial in calling his people to repentance and understanding the consequences of their actions. The book of Jeremiah stands as a testament to his enduring influence and the significance of his prophetic witness. Jeremiah's prophecies about judgment, exile, and eventual restoration continue to resonate with readers today. His ability to convey complex divine messages through both words and symbolic acts highlights the depth of his prophetic role. As we reflect on Jeremiah's story, we see a powerful example of how prophecy can shape history and offer insight into the divine relationship with humanity. In conclusion, Jeremiah's life as the weeping prophet was marked by profound challenges and remarkable achievements. His ministry offers enduring lessons on faithfulness, the cost of prophecy, and the enduring hope of divine restoration.